All right. We're live. Goodness gracious, that shut off quick. Hey, everybody. Welcome to summer school.
Guess who's back?
Yes. Goodness
Back
gracious.
again.
We're live. How about that? It's better than the first year. Do you remember the first year? I went live in 2020.
Yep.
Again, me, all alone, all solo, and talked for a whole minute before I realized that we were muted.
Were you looking to make sure you weren't muted?
I'm making sure we're not muted right now, actually. double checking. All right. Awesome. Goodness. So, hey, everybody, welcome to summer school day 2. We're so excited you're here with us. Looking forward to excitement, fun, joy, all those sorts of things. It's going to be a great, great day. So we're excited to get into some great stories about like truly bringing joy. Like we're gonna have some fun with that in just a minute with Jason. We've got some great speakers today talking about performance, talking about using data. Woo. You want to add a tally?
We're going to add a tally already.
using data to create better connections to our leadership, to our people, what they need from us, all those sorts of things. So I'm really, really excited about this. All right. Keeping our feed running there. Okay. So, George, we got some announcements, things like that. I was going to say one more thing, and I completely forgotten it. That threw me off. So
I love you too. You're going to talk about how much you love me,
and
all those great things. So, Ben, I just want to let you know I love you too. I one of the things I love, Ben, every time we're getting here is send everybody from all over, not just the United States, but we got some friends over in Canada. We got a group over in Ghana, 10 plus countries. So we are live streaming. It's not just something that we're seeing in the States. We are all over, and I can't wait to show this map of all our people that are attending. So continue to show where you're coming from. Our UK friends as well. Love them as much. I was just thinking about my trip over there and all the good bread and cheese, all the carbs that I love was great for me.
I'm just grateful that you're not eating an Oreo ball here on stage right now.
Now
he's going to do it later
time.
on. So he's already had one. It's too early here for that. So let's get some fun stuff, everybody. So welcome back. We are glad you're here with us. Let's run through some housekeeping and some announcements, all those good things. Then we'll dive into our first live session here streaming from here in Huntsville, where we are. So stay engaged. As you saw yesterday, we gave away a ton of things, and we're going to do it again. So stay connected with us, share what you're learning. We'll actually give some shout outs in a minute to some people that we're posting and sharing, and make sure we get them on the prize pack list as well. So Sherm, HRTI credits, I love you. Okay. I love all of you, but please stop asking me when the credits are coming. They're coming after the event. All right. You heard me. All right. Someone's going to email me right now and say, hey, are there credits for a day? No, not for a day. But for the whole event, absolutely. And yes, it's being recorded in case anyone's like, oh, God, someone popped my office, one of those last minute. Hey, you got a minute? You're like, yeah, I'll see you in an hour, and you missed summer school. It's okay. Do your work. We'll come back to you. It's going to be on demand stream. Same way you access today is how you can access the on demand after the fact. And then this is a live stream. So we'll be, approximate our times, try to hit and land on time. We're very close. I was proud of George yesterday. I was like, hey, let's keep it tight, keep it close. And it's hard to rein this gentleman in, but we did. So we got it right there.
We got some new students here today, a couple of freshmen, and then we got some people who have been held back. You'll be able to meet them as well. Some 6-year seniors. And so we're excited about the audience here. Audience, would y'all like to make some noise and welcome everybody?
Yes. We are having a lot of fun. They are seeing the good and the weird behind the scenes over here happening, all the things that make this thing go. So we're excited to have them here with us and looking forward to hearing from them as we go through the day. So really quickly, George, you want to give some, we can just give some shout outs real quick. It was so fun for me last night. I'm not usually a social media scroller, but I have to be after summer school.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all this.
Hashtag HR Summer School. One of our favorite things to do at the end of the night, just kind of recapping and going over some of the posts that y'all are tagging us in, also tagging and hashtagging. And so here's just a few of them. Shout out to Alicia with the post. I love detail posts as well. And Katie Tanner, shout out to her. She gave a little bit of everything, some acronyms in there, which acronym junkie professor as myself. That's what I am. We were trying to figure out my role. I'm the professor of acronyms. You're the professor of data. You got two different ways you can say what you do.
Why not?
You can always say acronyms or NIM or NIMES or dimes.
All right. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for chiming in, for sharing. Kenny Dang, I don't see your post in here. I tried to grab it this morning, but he's one of our people every year that shares good feedback, one of our previous Unity Award winners for HR Summer School. And I guess like a 10-second on that. Every year, if you're new to this, every year we give away a pair of custom designed shoes for our Unity Award winner. Stretched and got that on camera. So this is actually going to be the pair this year, custom designed by the shoe guy, not me. So thank goodness for George. So we'll be giving those away tomorrow to someone who is lifting others up in the community and just bringing positive energy and helping to remind us that we're doing good stuff in the space. Quick reminder that if you want to meet George in person, I've had enough of him, but the rest of you want some of that. So you can meet him. He's going to be at SHRM this year. So just scan the QR code. You can sign up. It's completely free to attend. They'll feed you. They'll get you some drinks, all that good stuff. And you get to have some conversations about your favorite summer school moments. We have lots of good stuff. Are you going to wear your shirts that I got you?
I will be changing wardrobes.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
I'll change shoes and socks at least 2 or 3 times today. Maybe not socks, but shirts. I'll definitely change my shirts 3 times.
I'm now confused.
I'll have 4 shirts today.
We have
shoes.
summer school shirts, notebooks, all those sorts of things. You can scan that, get those if you want to show off your summer school love. We have a different shirt every year. I'm wearing the one from 2021. I pick that up on the camera there. We took the names of every attendee and created a big logo. This is HR as a reminder that this isn't about us. It's about all of you. And so just some fun stuff there. So the announcements for the day, or the schedule for the day, we're going to start off with Jason Thrasher. He's going to bring some joy, some energy. I told him to bring it this morning, like energy, and he actually brought Chick-fil-A. So I'm like, goodness, he is going above and beyond already. Caitlin Sampson, I'm going to have to get on to her about that one because I'm still waiting. Okay, then we're going to get into some good conversation with Ken Matos from High Bob. We're going to talk about using data to create better conversations with our leadership. Another tally. We're going to talk about total rewards and how comp fits into this bigger picture, what we can do to create a more employee-centric workforce. George, great conversation with Isha from SoundCloud there. So it's other good stuff coming. So stay tuned for all of these things. A couple more announcements really quick before we segue into the good stuff. So I was at an event the other day and someone's like, Ben, I followed summer school for years. I see your stuff, your posts, everything else. What do you guys actually do? And so we're going to take a second and tell you some of the stuff we do really quickly. One of the things we started doing in the last year, really emphasizing, is the academy here at Lighthouse, where we work day to day. You want to give a quick snippet on that?
Yeah. So with the academy, something that I'm very passionate about, obviously, is I like to be a candle, and so it's another acronym. Culture and leadership development. And so want to be able to bring that to the audience. And so we created a platform and a space to do culture and leadership development, working with companies and organizations to really champion those within organizations as well. We also offer executive leadership coaching for emerging leaders or C-suite leaders as well. And then obviously something that I'm very passionate about that we're excited about is that everybody wanted more HR summer school.
Yes.
And so what we decided to do starting in January, we launch HR Summer School lunch breaks. And so once a month, we have a live stream webinar, and this is membership only. And so right now we want to also just take a stand and say thank you to our current partners and members. Yes. North Dakota State, the whole state is part of this membership. So shout out to them. We have a group of people that's Philippi. She is incredible. She's been champion a group of HR people over in Ghana. And so she is part of that. Skiro out of Indiana, so the local chapter there. Also a group of Zealandia, a company out of North Carolina, Tampa HR, and we have some more individuals as well that are part of this. On the screen right now, you have a QR code for individual memberships. If you're part of a local group or a state group and you're interested in what that looks like, you can reach out to me or reach out to events@lhra.io. and just hashtag it or subject line of HR Summer School Break, and we'll lunch breaks, and we'll get more information to you for their incredible speakers the last couple of months. We had a great speaker last month on mental health and well-being. Yes. Julie Turney, she really broke down everything when it comes to that, and it was incredible. And you get all those on demand as well.
Yes, I was gonna say also Amy Mosher was one of the speakers.
Amy Mosher was before that.
Yeah, all the good speakers that you love here. The biggest complaint about summer school we get is there's not enough of it. Want more of it, and it's like that's a good problem to have. So this is the way to do that. We're sharing these things too, by the way. We forgot to mention. So George is actually doing an upcoming leadership session. He's going to be giving away a couple of those today as part of the conversation. We're going to give away a couple of these individual memberships for people as well as the AI course that I built last year. I've written the book on it, and so we're going to share some of those away, give them away to the audience today as we're going through. So that should be fun to give some of those out and make sure we're getting everybody connected into the things that matter. All right, let's see if there's anything else here. Two last things, and then we're going to get started. The announcements always like grow by day, it feels like. So we do live streams like this one, but we do one-day live streams throughout the year as we're releasing new research. So we did one this year on talent acquisition and what candidates are thinking and how they're looking for jobs and what you can do about it. We're doing one coming up later in June. It's QR code scan will take you right there to it. But we're doing one around frontline workers. So if you have people that show up to the job site, you're in retail, you're in hospitality, or any of the sorts of spaces, this is about the unique things that you need. We're not going to talk about hybrid work. We're not going to talk about people who are sitting in an office and how to engage them. We're going to talk about the other challenges that appear with that sort of workforce. And then one last thing here before we go on is thank you to our sponsors. We heard from some of them yesterday. We'll hear from more of them today. We appreciate them for helping to make summer school possible. So give them a shout out there in the chat. Give them a look if they're sharing with you about what they're doing so that they know that y'all appreciate them for bringing summer school to all of us. All right. Anything else, George?
Let's get this party started.
That felt very official. Okay, let's get the party started.
Let's get the party started.
All right. Working on it. And, okay. So our first speaker is going to be Jason Thrasher. He's going to talk about doing HR with joy. And so I'm going to get out of the way, let you guys have some fun here, and I'll be taking notes. I hear Jason's already going to be taking some shots at me, so I'll be ready to take some back at him. I'm not taking shots.
I feel like this student has got some built-up frustration. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Thrasher. So, Jason, the first thing I'm thinking right now is the last time we sat down together and actually stood up together on the stage, there was some singing, there's some dancing. You brought some joy, and so here's my first. I
brought you a shirt.
Brought me a shirt. I'm gonna throw it on too.
Absolutely.
This is HR approved.
That's right, man. That's right.
In front of each other. Let's do this.
That's it, brother. You got a little sticker up here. Let's see if we can get this sticker.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we can get that off.
Thank you.
I don't know. We can kind of sit here. Keep talking. Yeah, roll
with it.
There you go.
Scan the QR code.
I mean, yesterday, Ben, he had more outfit changes than Cher at a concert. I'm like, just saying. So I had to wear my shirt today. I couldn't be outdone. I didn't have, several shirts to change into, so I wore mine. Choose joy.
So you talk about this, and obviously choosing joy. What does this mean to you? When I think of joy, so growing up, as I gotten, elevated in my age, some people say older. Joy for me, another acronym, hashtag over here. Joy for me, I created was just older youth. Okay. And so, you can't call me old. I'm just older youth.
Right.
So when you say choose joy, I'm like, choose just older youth. It's okay to be old.
Oh, yeah.
For you,
am I the one that got held back in summer school?
You were the one that got held back. And so,
I'm like, I was here from the beginning.
What does it mean? Principal Ben's in the background, like still subject. We pre-recorded this, but we're all subjects as well. What does it mean to bring joy in HR? What does that mean to you? Because you live a certain lifestyle, and you really show this charismatic energy that sometimes can be annoying to some people.
It could be, yeah.
Like you're always this way, and I love it, and I'm so glad that you're here to be able to share. But what does that mean, and how can leaders embed this really into their everyday work practice? Because this is like life for you.
Absolutely. Well, first off, hey, everybody in HR Summer School. Thank you for coming to work today. Thank you, studio audience, for being here. So glad to see you. Take a minute and look over at your neighbor and say, hey, neighbor, thank you for coming to work today. If you're by yourself, just look at yourself and say, thank you for coming to work today. Now let's talk about joy.
Jason used to be a pastor. I don't know if it's true, but he should have been.
Worship pastor. I was for many years. So let's talk about joy. Many times in our professional life, we think joy comes later. Like when we get our finances right, and we get our life right, and we get our career right, etc. But I believe that joy is now. It can be here today. I was on the list to get up today. If you're in HR Summer School today, if you're here in this audience, you were on the list to get up today. And that means that you can have joy today. If you were on the list to get up today, that means you have purpose for today. So for me, joy is now. It is one of those concepts that it took me a little bit to get. I learned it kind of over time. It's not rah-rah. It's not like the cheerleader type stuff, but joy is now. And the other thing about joy that's important is that joy is a choice. It's just like this t-shirt. Every day you get up and you put on joy. You kind of have to put, just like you put your t-shirt on. Did you feel better when you put your t-shirt on?
I do.
All right. So you have a little joy in there. And again, you walk with it. It's a choice every single day. It takes commitment. It takes practice every day. On the good days, on the challenging days, and you can choose joy every day. And so think of it this way. If you were on the list to get up today, you have purpose today. If you have purpose today, you can have joy today.
You know, I love that when you talk about that and I hear you, it reminds me of my dad. And so when people wonder, George, where does all these acronyms come from? It comes from my father who adopted me at a young age. And he used to always tell me, because I had anger issues. I had a lot of hurt and pain in my life from where I grew up. But he will always say, George, you cannot wake up with joy in the morning if you go to bed with Sarah. That's and right. At this time, I didn't have a girlfriend and I never met a Sarah. So I was very confused. And so my dad of acronyms, this is where acronyms came from. He said, you can't go to bed with a sorry and rotten attitude. Sorry for any Sarah out there that spells her name S-A-R-A. But he said, you can't go to bed with sorry and rotten attitude and expect to wake up with joy in the morning. Right. It has to be something that you have inside of you. When I think about this, and I think about if Jason was in my workplace, he's going to do one or two things to me. He's going to elevate my energy, or he's going to drive me crazy when I just want to have a bad day. Like being connected next to Jason here, Joy here, on a bad day, sometimes it struggles. And sometimes people walk into the workplace and the culture is Jason, it's George, it's different, right? The temperature of the room just seems a little bit different. What are some simple and practical steps we as HR professionals can take to really cultivate that happier workplace where even if Michelle's struggling today, Jason can come around and say, hey, I love you, I care for you. I know the L word in the workplace is still weird, but we're going to get there one love day at a time. But what are some things that we can do to really help create that space where joy isn't just something that we try to grab onto? Joy is something that's inside of us that we accept and we choose to say, hey, I'm going to have joy despite my circumstances.
Right.
How do we cultivate that?
George, joy is not always an outward expression. It's an inward confidence, a steadiness, a steadfastness. And when we talk about culture, I like to say it this way. The culture you create determines the audience that you keep. I'll
say that one more time.
The culture you create determines the audience that you keep.
Yeah.
What type of culture are you creating in your work environment? Every day, one of our favorite authors, John Maxwell, he says, people's purpose in life is always connected to their giftedness. Everyone in HR Summer School today, everyone here in this live studio audience, you have a professional giftedness. And when you identify it and you begin to work in that professional giftedness, everything flows seamlessly. So as HR leaders, as we bring it into the workplace, one, you have to believe in yourself. Caitlin Sampson said it yesterday. You got to believe in yourself. You believe in yourself so that you can believe in others. When you believe in others, you can bring joy into the workplace. I like to say it this way. You first have to trust yourself. You have to trust your training, and you have to trust your connections and your network. Look at this incredible network through HR Summer School that you can connect with fellow HR colleagues.
Mm-hmm. So, one of the things that I love, Jason, is you mentioned John Maxwell, and I started thinking of the opportunity that I had to meet him, 21 years ago. And he talked about leadership, and he always says, leadership is influence. But he also goes on to talk about the examples that we create for others and how we can focus on certain things in the business, especially as your title is, right? C-suite, your CFO is focused, right? He's a ROI, she's a ROI queen or king. And they're locked into those certain things. They're locked into the data. They locked into the strategic aspects of things. But sometimes what we focus on, and it becomes the thing. For companies and organizations, we want to set examples where focusing on joy in HR is a thing, and how you talk about this as a tangible improvement, how does this then affect the morale? I'm thinking about the morale of the company, because culture is, for me, how most, not all, people feel, believe, and behave most of the time, not all the time.
Right.
What does this do for the morale? What does this do for an impact from a business outcome standpoint? If I'm choosing joy, what's the outcome of that joy that I can expect from my leaders, but also my employees?
I think a good quote from a pastor and keynote speaker, Jason Park, says, joy is a leadership multiplier. It doesn't just lift the mood, it lifts the entire room. It changes the atmosphere. And I think that's a key point to remember as we bring it into the workplace, that it's not rah-rah. It's not the cheerleader, but we can bring joy into the workplace through examples every single day.
Mm. What are some y'all, now I'm digging, and I like side effects, right? When I think about people that I'm around, when I think about when I'm around Ben, the side effects of being around Ben for me is that I know that I'm going to at least hear, see, feel data dozens of times, right? That's the side effect of being around Ben. Another side effect of being around Ben is that I know that I'm going to have there's like this contagious, genuine spirit, right? Of giving. Right. He loves to give. And so I think about the side effects of people. Again, going back to John Maxwell, at the end of the year, one of the things that he taught us is that evaluate your calendar. Evaluate all the meetings and how did that influence or impact you? Get rid of the things that just took from you, limit those, and then try to spend more time on your calendar, invest in those things that's going to help increase. What are side effects of Jason, of joy? What are some of the side effects of those things? You know, for me, I think about it changes the look of a person, right? I'm looking out here and every time I say joy, Miss Emily is smiling and I love it, right? And so when I think about joy, there's a side effect of that. There's a side effect of being around Ben. There's a side effect of being around you. We are going to sing, we're going to smile, we're going to have some fun, and we're going to have some Chick-fil-A. Those are side effects of being around Jason. What are some of the side effects of joy within the workplace?
You know, I like to say it this way: you can't retain what you do not maintain. I'll say that again. You cannot retain what you don't maintain.
Yeah.
When you sincerely care about people on a deeper personal level, it shows through organizational results. Can I share a little story with you?
Please take me down memory lane.
So I'm all my retail friends out there in HR summer school. If you're in the retail industry, I want to share a little story with you. So several years ago, I'm dating myself a little bit. I worked in retail as an HR manager. And I had the privilege of working in an organization called Parisian. Shout out to any old Parisian people out there. Hey, there's several in the room today. But my job was to motivate the store, George, early in the morning, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, to do production. We had to put out the truck and merchandise. And as the HR manager, I was supposed to motivate people. So one day I got on the intercom and I said, hey, everybody, good morning. Thank you for coming to work today. Now look over at your neighbor and say, hey, neighbor, thank you for coming to work today. Kind of like I did earlier today. Well, I did that over a couple days and it started to catch on, and day after day, month after month, it kind of became a thing. And so employees began to hold me accountable to it. And if I didn't do it, they'd come back to me and say, hey, are you not going to thank me for coming to work today? Because it became a thing. And so over time, what I saw is that it wasn't me, George. It was the incredible people that I had the opportunity to work with every single day. But that little thing of saying thank you, it challenged people to talk to one another. Did it make production go faster? It maybe didn't make production go faster, but it changed the atmosphere in which production was done. To this day, I can walk in stores and still meet people. In fact, recently at the Al Sherm State Conference, I ran into a former Parisian colleague. She walked up to me and she said, hey, Jason, thank you for coming to work today. That is a tangible outcome of that. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things in the workplace. It's simple. You don't have to do things just like that, but you can use those tips every single day to impact your people. When you say thank you to someone in the workplace, it causes a conversation, it changes the mood, and it changes the atmosphere.
Yeah, that really goes back to connecting what you're saying with a lot of things that we saw yesterday with recognition, and how that appreciation and recognition is so valuable. We got 5 minutes left because time is going by too fast because we're having too much fun. But when you talk about the atmosphere, I think of being in this room, and I love it chilly. I'm a cold. I'd rather put on more things than like sweating up here, especially with the lights. But I think about, setting the temperature. And you have, those who are thermometers and thermostats.
Right.
One's going to take the temperature of the room. One's going to set the temperature of the room. And having people that bring that joy into the room is so valuable. How can HR teams, what can we give to the viewers today to encourage them ways to really break out of the mindset of only checking the boxes? You talk about the atmosphere. You got those that are still fighting, the HR one, they have those people that are just checking boxes. How can we go from checking boxes to instead focusing on the human connection? Because I think joy is that, right? Joy is not something we just check and say, I have it. Joy is really, really involved in really that human connection. Talk a little bit about that.
Yesterday we talked about how task-driven HR can be. I mean, who doesn't love a good checklist? Okay, we all like a good checklist. But do we have people on that checklist? Do we have check the temperature of the room on that checklist? And as HR leaders, we have the opportunity to set the atmosphere. And so it can be easy to get stuck in those checklists, but remembering that we are in the business of people. That most of us, like we talked yesterday, we kind of backed into HR because we liked people, not because we liked compliance or any of that stuff. It's because we liked people. And being able to understand people over process every day, when you put your shirt on, when you put your joy shirt on, every day, people over process. A joyful leader walks into the room and they change the atmosphere.
Yeah.
John Maxwell says this: success is knowing your purpose in life, growing in your maximum potential, and sowing seeds that benefit others. We were not meant to do life alone.
Right.
We're all in collective. And as HR professionals, we have the opportunity to shape the atmosphere and shape the mood of our organization, of our teams, and everyone that we meet every single day.
Love it. How can people connect with you if they want to choose not just joy today, but they also want to choose a connection with Jason? How can they connect with you?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. Would love to be friends with you there. You can check out my website at bestlife50.blog. Would love to hear from you. Let us know where you're watching from today. My pleasure, my friend.
Jason's been great. One last word as Principal Ben's coming up here. Give them an inspiration, 30 seconds or less.
Hey, do you have a go-to song? My go-to song the last time we talked about was 9 to 5. That joy song. Who doesn't love Whitney Houston? And I want to dance with somebody. We're going to go out with, I can't sing it today because I got a little bit of a cold.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I want to dance with somebody.
I want to feel the heat with somebody. Thank you, HR Summer School.
Oh my goodness. All right. Goodness gracious. That was so incredible. So much fun. Love and appreciate Jason. And now I saw the comments actually rolling through. I'm watching from the back of the room and people are like, now I see why Jason was picked to start us off today. Yes, absolutely. A shot in the arm in the best possible way. So grateful to know him, grateful to call him a friend. He's been a positive influence in my life and my career as an HR leader here in the Huntsville area. And I'm grateful that he took the time to join us today, not just to join us, but to bring it.
Yeah,
truly. He did.
He brings it. He did. Yeah. And he makes you want to dance with somebody. Can we dance together?
The audience
just
would
right
pay to not see me dance.
Just keep it in the pocket. Will Smith and what's the other guy's name? Anywho,
Kevin James. There we go.
There we go.
Kevin James. I got even less than he's got. All right. All right. Great stuff. Fun start to the day. We're so excited for some great sessions coming right down the line. So we're going to get into this conversation now, which we've heard about. I want you to let this joy sort of permeate through what you're sharing today. And as you're listening in for these things, we're not talking about practical stuff to do because we're going to do that. We're not just talking about stuff to add to your to-do list. That's important. We're going to do that too. But to do it with joy. So let's get with Ken Matos. He's at the team at Hi Bob. They're one of our supporters this year and for multiple years now. Actually, Hi Bob's been behind the event, helping to make this happen. And Ken and I, you get your marker out.
I'm up to 4 right now. Say it.
Get your marker out because you're going to need it for this session. It's going to be truly, truly fun. So let's get this running, and here we go. Emily, I know you've been enjoying the conversation so far, and this one here I've been honestly really looking forward to. I'm excited because every time Ken and I get together, there's some some mad science that happens. Ken, we know it, right? There's some sparks flying. There's always something creative that comes out of this. And for the audience out there, I want you to listen in today because Ken's going to use some ideas from some of the research that he and the team at HiBob have done to give you some ideas on where you may be, maybe some opportunities, we'll say, to be more data-driven, to think about how to use the resources you have to impact your people in a more positive way, to impact the company in a more positive way. And Ken's always got the smarts to do that and share those things with us. So welcome. So glad to have you here.
Hey, Ben, thank you for having me. Always happy to get a chance to talk to you.
I know. I'm like, man, we're having so much fun here and we're getting some good things out to the audience. I can't wait for them to hear from you. And at the end of this, I know they're going to be like, God, that was incredible. I know, because I'm building you up. Can you tell them, like, building you up? That it's
Setting me up. Setting me up, maybe?
maybe, who knows? Who knows? So before we get to some of the good stuff I've already teased for the audience, would you take a minute and tell them more about who you are and what you do, please?
Absolutely. So I'm Ken Matos. I'm the Director of Market Insights at HiBob. So my background is as an organizational psychologist. I've spent the last 2 decades working in government, for-profit, and nonprofit organizations focused on what makes work for people, whether it be flexibility, a more inclusive environment, higher engagement, or simply better data management.
I'm going to let go off the script already. If you had to boil that down, like you've looked at this across all these different organizations and industries and contexts, is there like one thing that makes work, or is it too varied because people are varied?
I would say actually making a decision. In so many organizations, the biggest challenge is trying to hedge your bets and do everything kind of halfway so you can tilt too quickly, and then you end up not having anything baked enough to really deliver value. And so being able to say, our hiring strategy is about retaining people because knowledge and relationships matter, great. Or they don't matter, and somebody can do great work for 2 years and leave, and that's okay too. And just picking the approach sets you up for success. Trying to be everything to everyone is the one thing I see over and over again creates challenge.
It feels like too, if you're not committed to a direction, you never know if you've arrived or not too. Like one foot in, 1 foot out of the boat. You're like, we may be winning or not. I haven't fallen in yet, but you're not really getting anywhere.
And as you change the leadership, you change the colleagues, the argument can shift overnight. And you can't have nothing to go back to and say, well, we agreed that this is what success was. I delivered that. If you want to change it, great. I'll do the new thing. But let's start with the assumption that everything I've done was working.
Okay. All right. So detour for me there for my own personal joy, but I was just trying to understand that one. Again, every time I get a chance to chat with someone who has that IO background, I'm just like digging in the weeds of what's possible, what's there. We have another amazing IO psychologist by training who's here speaking at the event, Nicole Eisdorfer from Vail Resort. So all of you are, Ken and Nicole, you'll get that big ideas from. Here it comes. So Ken, you and the team at HiBob, and again, we appreciate HiBob for supporting the event, by the way. Meant to call it at the beginning, but they've been a supporter for years here at Summer School. We appreciate them. So you and the team recently finished some research around HR priorities, surveying people just like those listening into us today. What were some of the things that you found that were intriguing, some of the things you found to be true?
Yeah, so we went and talked to over 200 HR leaders to understand what was really valuable in terms of the programs they put out, as well as the kinds of impacts they were getting. And so when we went through that list, we were asking them about leadership, DEI, onboarding, engagement, and well-being initiatives. And so just a couple of things that really popped were like, above everything else, onboarding was your number one investment. When you had really good onboarding, people were saying things were made a lot better by their onboarding programs. About over 40% said that it made things a lot better. Closer to 80% said it just made things better, which outstripped pretty much every other type of investment that we asked people about. It helped with engagement, it helped with alignment for the organization. When you really set people up to join, you also end up having conversations about who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, which goes back to my first point in this conversation of what is the decision? Because that new person's going to ask you all those questions. What's the right way? How do I make a decision under these circumstances? And it really reveals to you where your gaps are. And so across all the different things we asked, onboarding really established itself as being valuable both as a diagnostic and an intervention to make the organization more effective. So I've become a really big onboarding evangelist because it has so many opportunities to solve both the immediate problem and stretch out into other ones.
You use two words there, diagnostic and intervention. So a diagnostic as in it will tell us like what's happening, right? What's going on there, I guess. We can use it as a measurement for, are we hitting the right key points in that to set them up for success? Is that how you envision that diagnostic piece?
For example, if your company does onboarding surveys, those are going to usually be identified. So a specific person will tell you how their onboarding is going. And so you can see, does that match our expectations? Are they missing out on some essential experience? You're able to compare that across time, doing trends, and see like, suddenly our onboarding experience is not what it used to be. Is that because we lost a key person? Is that because there's change happening in our organization? But because it's an identified survey, you can then just go talk to that person and say, oh, you said you weren't getting X. Let's just give it to you. And then we can go back and systemically make sure that that doesn't happen again. Whereas a lot of other initiatives are either to learn what's happening or to change a thing, but they're often not connected so that you get a virtuous cycle. Onboarding, if you're doing any sort of onboarding survey and data collection, you end up with both.
Thinking about that, so maybe an action item for the audience listening here is, number one, you said if you're doing surveys for onboarding, I would imagine there's still plenty of us that weren't. Okay, so I did informal stuff when I was running HR team, but I did not do an actual formal survey. And this isn't a 50 question, assessment. This is, a couple of questions on, hey, what went well, what didn't go well, what can we improve, like those sorts of things probably. But you're saying like keep tabs on that over time. If you see a dip, step in. If you see it increase, like also what happened, what improved there. The only thing I'd throw in there is we often think of onboarding as all the processes and pieces of information you put around someone. There's also the connections and relationships. And if they're feeling kind of disconnected, maybe there's a chance to introduce someone that